invitation.
Call or text.
Sign it. I didn't. Oh, no. Russell get a rap going.
All of you.
Like it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call the January 20th meeting of the Columbia County Planning Commission to order. If you'd please stand with us. Commissioner Futch will lead us in the invocation, and Commissioner Dempsey will lead us in the pledge.
Bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, letting us gather.
Flag, United States of America. Republic for which one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty.
Thank you. If I could remind you to please silence your cell phones. We do have 80% quorum tonight. Commissioner Wilder has he had COVID and was exposed to COVID again today, so he is quarantining again. So, gentlemen, if you had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting, if there are no changes or amendments, I need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? To approve the minutes as they're submitted passes 4-0. I believe we do have two items that need to be added to the agenda under sections E2 and E3. Could I have a motion to add Wrights Farm and Royal Oaks?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Motion to amend the agenda passes 4-0, and the agenda is approved as amended. We have no presentations other than, before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to clarify that the Planning Commission is a recommending body to the Columbia County Board of Commissioners. The decisions made on rezoning and variance requests tonight will be forwarded to the Commissioners for final action on February 1st, 2022 at 6 p.m. in these chambers. If you wish to address the Board of Commissioners at their meeting, see Kara Harden, and she will give you a request to speak form for their meeting. Some of you have heard this before, some of you haven't. We're less formal in this meeting. If there is an item on our public hearing agenda that you'd like to address and give us some additional information on, we'd ask you to come forward, take 3 to 5 minutes at the microphone, and give us your opinion, your observations, your reasons that we should approve or disapprove a particular item. If you have something that's not on the agenda that you'd like to present for the record, we have an opening for you in our public comments section at the end of the meeting. Again, I'll ask you to come forward, take 3 to 5 minutes, and give us whatever information you'd like us to establish on the record. So that being said, we'll move right into a variance request, filed VA 220102. Mr. Butler, you have that, and this is a public hearing, so we'll reopen the public hearing for this.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. It's a request for a variance, section IS-98, lists lot and structure requirements at 3157, 3165 Gordon Highway to permit buildings over 55 feet in height. This is the location of the property, next to the intersection of Parham Road and Gordon Highway. There is some property that's within Richmond County. You do have Gate 6 here into Fort Gordon across the street. Again, currently zoned CC, Community Commercial. Most of the property around it is zoned RA here to the west and north. You do have some S1 and C3 on the east side of the property. Here's an aerial view of the property itself, again, currently undeveloped. Also the existing site. Also this one looking towards Gate 6. And the plat of the property at 3157 Gordon Highway and also 3165. The request this evening is for to increase the building height from 55 feet, which is our normal maximum height, up to 86 feet in height. So the reason that you're seeing this is because within C1 and CC, the only way to do that is request a variance to it. In properties that are C2 and M1, I know we've seen at least one in M1, that can just go through Planning Commission, doesn't require a variance. It basically has the fire marshal say, yes, we're okay with that building height. This situation does require a variance. Again, this shows you, can you go back one sheet there? This does show the overall site plan itself for the whole development. It's a little bit under 500,000 square feet of office space. We'll have SCIF space within it. That is one of the reasons for the additional height. Again, very large development for the area. Currently, Phase 1 is in for review, but that, again, over time, we will probably see it transition into this development. There's elevation of the property. Again, there are elevations of the building. Again, they're all 5 stories in height. Again, they're going up to 86 feet up to the top of this screening here. Again, you have the materials. It has brick and stucco. Again, pretty common office building in Columbia County. And again, the other elevations of the building themselves. So overall, again, the review, if this was, if it wasn't zoned CC, would be looking primarily to the fire marshal, what they think about it. Both the fire marshal and the fire chief have been consulted on this. Totally fine with the request. There is some building code requirements that everyone's aware of, so really no issue there on that in that regard. In terms of the property itself, it does straddle Richmond County. They had no concerns with it. Fort Gordon, which before we were kind of waiting on some comments from them, no concerns as well, and neither City of Harlan or Groveton had any issues as well. Due to all of that, staff recommends approval of the request. That includes staff recommendation.
All right, gentlemen, do you have any questions, staff? Is the applicant here? Mr. Bennett, I see you. Are you representing the applicant, the Development Authority, or an our man? Okay, yes, sir. Please come forward. Give us your name and home address.
Peter Vidal, work for Baker Barrios,
Would
Orlando,
you spell
Florida.
your last name, please?
Bidal.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, we are the architects of record
Okay.
project, so.
Have any idea of a construction timeline on this once you get your approvals?
No, we have not been released for CDs yet.
Gentlemen, any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Mr. Bennett, do you have anything like you'd add? I've seen your name attached to this in the press.
Obviously, we're heavily involved.
Who are you? We know you, but
Robbie Bennett, Development Authority of Columbia County. Address? I've been here a long time. 3204 Wisteria Court, Augusta, Georgia, 302. So we've been working with this developer for over a year. Next piece for them to be able to get moving and really get through the plan process and start getting closer to the construction. We do not have a set timeline on construction at this time, but I anticipate it would probably start pretty quickly. I know they're very eager. They've had a lot of partners to get moving. Getting through this piece is plan to move forward.
gentlemen, any questions? Thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here that'd like to speak either for or against this particular variance? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and accept a motion to approve, to disapprove, or to postpone.
Chairman, make a motion to approve file VA 220102, section 9098 to increase building height at 3157 and 3165 Gordon Highway.
Do I hear a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Motion to approve carries 4-0. We do have a little bit of housekeeping tonight. We've got election of officers. So the first will be the, I guess, the vote for chairman. I will turn the meeting over to the vice chairman, Mr. Al Dempsey.
Is there a motion on the floor for chairman for the year 2022?
I nominate Commissioner Cox for the office of chairperson.
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Motion passed. Give him his thing.
Thank you, gentlemen. And at this time, I'd like to open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
Make a nomination for Al Dempsey for vice chairman.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, are there any other motions? Al, you have an opportunity to refuse the nomination if you'd like. I'll
Be
close
more
the
than
floor.
happy to accept, sir.
I'll close the floor for nominations and move to a vote. All in favor of Al Dempsey serving as vice chair? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. So we've got a temporary use authorization. Ms. Montgomery, tax map 063, parcel 015.
Yes, sir. This is a request for a temporary use authorization at 1142 Lakeview Drive to allow them to maintain the existing home during construction of a new home. This is the location of the property off Lakeview Drive. and the aerial of the site with the existing home. This is a little bit of an odd situation. This house was erected in the 1970s, and the property owners are not sure if it started out as a manufactured home or not. It does not appear to be one today, but it is larger square footage than would be allowed as an ancillary dwelling. So if they were not planning to demolish it, they would need the ancillary dwelling request instead. So their plan is to construct a new house behind this one, tear this existing house down. The temporary use authorization gives us the 1-year timeline to follow up and make sure that that happens and that the property ends up in compliance. And staff is recommending approval.
Okay, this is not a public hearing, so I'll need a motion to approve, to disapprove, or to table.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the temporary use authorization for 1142 Lakeside Drive.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Motion to approve carries 4-0. Mr. Butler, we have 6 massage operators licenses today. Are there any issues with any of the applicants?
There are not.
Okay, gentlemen, if nobody objects, could we take all 6 of these presented as one and vote as a block? Okay, thank you, sir. Let's do that.
Okay, the first one is Cheryl Connell, and I don't know how to pronounce her first name there, Rodriguez, DBA CY Transformations, at 3506 Professional Circle, Suite A, and they also have a mobile massage. Faith O'Neill at 4436 Columbia Road, also mobile massage. Michelle Schmidt, DBA Michelle Lynn, LMT, 1105 Ferries Lane, Suite A. Mira Fisher, 4210A Columbia Road, Your Me Time Massage and Spa at 3685 Riverwatch Parkway, Suite 105, and also a mobile massage. And Kristen Luke at 3685 Riverwatch Parkway, also Suite 105. So Suite 105, there are multiple massage businesses within that. They're not going to be like in the same room, perhaps, but an address. That includes all the massage operators' licenses.
Okay, gentlemen, do you have any questions on any 6 of these applications? Okay, I'll need a motion to approve as submitted, to deny as submitted, or to table as submitted.
Chairman, I make a motion transformation.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Approved carries 4-0. Okay, we've got a couple of final plats tonight. Ms. Montgomery, you have all 3. The first is final for Yelton Farms.
Yes, sir. This is a final plat for Yelton Farms off Ray Owens Road, currently zoned residential agricultural. The location of the property at the intersection of Tom Bartles Road and Ray Owens Road, and again, currently zoned RA residential agricultural. This is the aerial of the site, currently undeveloped. And the proposed plat. This is 17 new lots with a minimum lot size of 2.6 acres in compliance with the RA zoning district. The majority of the lots do have frontage on the existing public roads, with the exception of these in the middle. Those are accessed via access easements, which comply with the county requirements to have no more than 4 lots on each easement. Some of those easements are going to shift around a little bit with the traffic comments from what you see here, but they will retain their compliance with the county code. The average lot size for this project is 3 acres. The lots have a 100-foot setback from the right-of-way of Ray Owens Road and a 50-foot setback from the right-of-way of Tom Bartles Road. The lots are currently noted as intended to be served by individual wells and septic systems, although they will likely have access to county water in the future. Staff recommends approval of this final plat.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions of staff? Okay, this is not a public hearing, so I'll need a motion to approve as submitted, to disapprove, or to table.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, I make a motion to approve final plat H2E1 final plat for Yelton Farms.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Motion to approve passes 4-0. Ms. Montgomery, Wrights Farm.
Yes, sir. This is the final plat for Section 2 of Wrights Farm located off Reynolds Road. This is the location of Section 2, just to the west of Section 1 on the south side of Wrightsboro Road, and currently zoned planned unit development. This section includes 79 single-family lots with a minimum lot size of 6,750 square feet. Setbacks are a minimum of 20 feet from the back of the curb per the PUD and are shown at 18 feet from the property line to meet water utility requirements for spacing from the utility lines. Remaining setbacks are a minimum of 7.5 feet from the side property lines and 10 feet from the rear property lines. Sidewalks and street trees are provided on both sides of the road, and there are several lots that do meet the 50-foot lot requirements for Wrights Farm. They are required to have slide-by driveways per the PUD, and this is noted clearly on the plat to hopefully avoid revision issues that we've seen previously with this development.
About to ask that question.
And buffers are provided along Wrightsboro Road and adjacent to the Kingston subdivision to the south. These are the only open space in this particular section. However, this section does have access to the amenity areas in Section 1, including the pool and the playground. And this is the existing site photo. And staff is recommending approval.
Gentlemen, any questions, staff? Okay, this is not a public hearing, so I'll need a motion to approve, to disapprove, or to table.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the final plat for Wrights Farm, Section
Do I hear a second? Okay. Discussion? All in favor? To approve passes 4-0. Ms. Montgomery, the final plat for the evening, Royal Oak at Linsmore 2.
Yes, sir, this is a final plat for Royal Oak and Linsmore 2 off Canterbury Farms Parkway. This section is located near the back of Canterbury Farms, adjacent to I-20, and is part of the Canterbury Farms planned unit development. This plat includes 3 single-family lots that are Linsmore Section 2, and 70 townhouse residential lots that are Royal Oak, with a minimum lot size of 2,000 square feet. Setbacks for the Linsmore lots are a minimum of 25 feet from the right-of-way, 5 feet from the side property lines, and 10 feet from the rear property lines. Setbacks in the Royal Oak Townhouse section are also 25 feet from the right-of-way, 0 feet from the side property lines, and 10 feet from the rear property lines. Buffers are provided between the Royal Oak portion of the development and single-family sections of Canterbury Farms, as well as between the townhomes and I-20. 7.09 acres of open space is provided in this section, and sidewalks are provided on both sides of the road, as well as a walking trail connection to open space in previous sections of Canterbury Farms. This is the existing site photo, and staff is recommending approval.
How long has Canterbury Farms been under construction? I was going to say, it was under construction when I first came on here, and it's been almost 15 years. So, all right, gentlemen, do you have any questions of staff? Okay, seeing none, this is not a public hearing. I'll need a motion to approve, to disapprove, or to table.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the final plat of Royal Oak and Linsmore 2.
Do I hear a second? Discussion? All in favor? Motion to approve passes 4-0. We'll enter into our public hearing section of our meeting tonight. Ms. Montgomery, file RZ 220106.
Yes, sir. This is a request for a major S1 revision for property off Columbia Road to add an additional building to the site. This is the location of the property at the intersection of Columbia Road and William Few Parkway. And it is currently zoned S1 special for the Columbia County Fairgrounds. The adjacent properties are zoned S1 for a variety of uses in the area. It includes a church, some self-storage, and a dog kennel, a funeral home. We also have some professional and commercial zoning in the area, with the remainder being industrial further west on Columbia Road and residential surrounding the crossroads there. This is the aerial of the site, shows the existing building, parking, and driveways on the property, and a photograph of the existing site. And the requested revision is to add a 30,000 square foot warehouse to the property. This is the concept plan showing the location of the new building, as well as the shift in the driveway to accommodate the new building. The building is intended to be used initially for storage, with plans in the future to open the building up for educational tours that would be available during the fairs and for school tours and similar educational events by appointment. It is utilizing the existing driveways and parking on the property, again with that slight shift in the driveway, and is near the existing building on the site, and so will give you a better idea of the overall view. So the building is located near that existing building on the property. We'll utilize the existing parking and is near the center of the site, so there are no particular concerns with the additional building. This property is located in the community crossroads on the future development map. Crossroads are characterized by clustered commercial development, which can include civic uses, which the fairgrounds can certainly qualify as, so expansion of this use is in keeping with the future development map. And staff is recommending approval.
Gentlemen, any questions, staff? Is the applicant here? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward and give us your name and home address.
Henderson, 501 4th Augusta Street, Evans, Georgia, 30809. I am the past president of the Merchants Association. I've read the summary and recommendation. I agree with everything. Unless you have any questions for me, I
Okay.
would love to have it approved.
Gentlemen, any questions? All right, thank you, ma'am. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either for or against this particular rezoning? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and accept a motion to approve, to disapprove, or to table.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve file RZ 22-01-06, major S1 revision for tax map 050 parcel 006B off Columbia Road to add an additional building to the site.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? To approve passes 4-0. All right, the event of the evening. Variance file VA 220103.
This is a request for a variance to, at 670 South Bel Air Road, 9-98 list lot and structural requirements, and I-139 buffers and screening, to reduce building setbacks and buffers on the property. This is location on the property off South Bel Air Road. It is accessed via an easement. It basically comes in here, the property. And again, the current zoning, it was rezoned in 2009 to M1. You have some apartment residents to the north. This is actually owned by Columbia County. This is also zoned AR. You have some R2 to the west. And on the south side, you have that little strip of R2 there. It's supposed to be a road at some point. Then you have some M1 to the south, and again, R2 on the east side of the development. There's an aerial view of the property, and also the plat of the property. This again shows the easement here, south side. And the concept. So this is a little different than most. Usually we get a concept that shows how we're going to develop the property. In this situation, it shows us, here's the issues with the property. Again, this does show the required 40-foot buffer on the property as well as a 30-foot MBL. And then also you can see the floodplain here that's a little better illustrated in a future slide here. But again, this shows that the area is limited to develop the property. And again, like I was talking about before, the floodplain on the property is almost an acre worth of the property itself. So it does push development, towards this side of the property itself. So overall, if you can go back to the previous slide, I'm sorry. Overall, no worries really removing or reducing the buffers on these parts of the development. No concerns there. There is some potential for this to be rezoned in the future, perhaps. Where we do have some concerns is on the east side of the property against the residential development here. M1 can function next to residential, but again, the issues are primarily going to be noise and light. We do have a condition regarding a photometric plan showing it's not exceeding 1 foot candle at the property line. And also with the noise, typically you have the dumpsters being picked up early in the morning is usually an issue. That is a condition there as well. Again, it's in the hours of 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. And also they can't locate the dumpster enclosure itself more than adjacent to or within 40 feet of those parcels. We do have a condition that speaks to clarifying how all these are going to work. Building setbacks are reduced to 10 feet. Structural buffers are waived against properties to the north and then also the south and west. But again, on the east side, it's going to be required, and that structural buffer will be required by use provisions, or it's reduced to 10 feet adjacent to all the other property lines. That concludes staff recommendation.
All right, gentlemen, any questions to staff? Is the applicant here? Ms. Jernigan, would you like to come forward and give us any additional information? Please,
Information.
give us your name and home address.
Susan Jernigan, 1394 Watterson Drive in Evans.
And gentlemen, if y'all would do the same while you're here, if y'all three are going to speak.
Paul Kennedy, 3652 Linwood Drive.
E. Jernigan, 1354.
Is there any additional information you'd like to have or would like to give us at this time, or do you have a question?
Sure. Which R2?
And you all can draw on that monitor.
No, so you're talking about this piece here and this piece?
Yeah,
No, so that's reduced to 10 feet.
that's all reduced to 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything else y'all would like to add? Any other questions you have? All right, cool, thank you. All right, is there anyone else here that would like to speak either for or against this particular variance? Mr. Lawrence, you're the only other person? Nothing to add? All right. With that, I'll close the public hearing and accept a motion to approve, to disapprove, or to table.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve with conditions file 103, variances to buffers and setbacks.
Do I hear a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? To approve passes 4-0. We have no text amendments or legal matters. We do have, under staff and commissioner comments, a year in review and multifamily report. Who is going to run with that?
I am.
Okay, Ms. Montgomery.
Okay. So this is our annual year in review and multifamily report, where we look at everything that happened last year. So we were up on both our rezoning and variance requests, as far as just number of applications we processed last year. So 82 rezoning requests, 49 variance requests. That's the highest, I think, in those 5 years we've got on the screen. Of those 82 rezoning requests, that included 31 revisions to existing zonings, 7 new S1s, a couple new tattoo and massage locations, and just 1 new neighborhood that was approved. So by type, as is fairly typical, the biggest piece of the pie was the changes of conditions or revisions. We typically do see the largest proportion of the applications be that type of request, and that held true this year at 38%. And then you can see the kind of residential, commercial, conditional use, and our planned and special districts were all roughly equal, with smaller amounts of industrial and professional requests. So by type, it's a very colorful chart. We saw a higher number of residential requests, which is interesting when you consider that we only actually approved 1 new neighborhood. We saw a fairly typical number of commercial requests, a few more industrial, pretty typical on the professional, and fewer applications here under our planned, that wasn't what I was trying to point to, our planned districts. Again, that change of conditions was the most frequent request we saw. So if we look at what types of applications we were receiving by district, we'll see that a lot of those residential requests were individual lots, RA, R1, not really new residential developments, but rezonings. In some cases, from M1 to RA, where we were pulling property out of the I-20 corridor. But that's why, although we saw more residential requests, we did not see additional residential neighborhoods this year. As far as what happened to all those rezoning requests, we had about 70% of them that were approved. Quite a few of them got withdrawn this year. We had 14 applications withdrawn, 18%. Just 8% that got disapproved, and then we still got 2 pending. One we'll hear next month and one that y'all will see again in March. So those are hanging out there. We don't know what their final fate is yet. As far as the percentage of units applied for that were approved, single family wise, we actually had 63% disapproved. That's slightly skewed. That is primarily the withdrawal of the Owens Village request that tipped those numbers, since we did not have very many large applications last year for single-family rezonings. We did have 1 townhouse application, which was denied. And then you'll see the apartment one is blank over here. That's because one of those pending applications is the apartment project on Washington Road, so its final fate is not determined. But they did withdraw the first request, so it fell into that denied basket. As far as the number of units, we had 102 single-family units approved, and all of the other requests, the single-family, that single townhouse, and the original request for the apartments on Washington Road, either denied or withdrawn. As far as how that stacks up against other years, obviously our single-family was low compared to other years. Townhouses and apartments were down, but we typically don't see as many of those, so it's not quite as drastic a change there. As far as variance requests, as usual, our most common variance requests are to setback and buffer requirements. And there we'll see our setback requirements here and buffers over here. So that was pretty typical. We did see quite a few requests to 9144. That's our fence code, is the main portion of that we see variance requests to. And there you can see that spike a little more clearly, compared to other years, we did get more than double the number of requests that we've seen before. As far as residential development, we did have 5 concept plans approved last year, so 672 future lots. We had 596 new residential lots under construction, so those are approved preliminary plats, and 784 new residential lots on approved final plats and ready for sale. In comparison to other years, we can see preliminary and final, again, typically move in opposition to each other, so we were a little up on final plats, a little down on preliminary plats from last year. Our concept plans dropped off this year as well. They had been on a steady increase on the number of lots we were seeing on those, but they did drop last year. And in terms of building permits, permits were issued for 829 new single-family homes, 66 new townhouses, and 15 new apartment buildings with 232 new units. So that is, again, predominantly single-family, which is pretty typical, 73%. 21% in apartment units, and 6% in the townhouses. In terms of how that stacks up to other years, single families kind of in the ballpark, townhouses around the same amount, apartments a little higher than normal. We did have quite a few apartment projects underway this year. And total residential units wise, again, right in the ballpark where we normally see it, around that 1,100 mark. In other things we did, we had 199 permanent sign permits processed last year, 37 temporary sign permits, 64 zoning verification letters, 16 minor waivers, 9 provisional home occupations, and 20 temporary use authorizations. Some of the other things we dealt with over the course of the year. We also had a design recognition, and this is a building or a project that's identified by staff for quality design and construction. And last year we did recognize Greenbrier Vet for their design. And then in terms of our multifamily update, we mentioned we did have several apartment projects that were underway last year. That is, in terms of development, that included, or still includes on the list, Lion Gate, although they have not really made much progress. That includes Grand Oaks at River Island, which has received all of the building permits for their construction. That includes site work for the mixed-use project in Evanstown Center, which has begun, as well as construction on Phase 2 of the Lullwater apartment complex out at Riverwood. In terms of townhouses underway, we did have the additional permits issued in 2021. These were in existing approved developments, primarily Emerson at Crawford Creek and Canton Park for construction there. And then we had final plats for the townhouse sections in Kalari and Canterbury Farms, which we saw tonight, that were submitted in 2021. So they are working their way towards completion, and we would anticipate that they would be getting building permits this year. That's all I have.
Gentlemen, any questions? Keith, you have any questions? Yes, sir.
We're gonna count it 3 times.
You saw that little graphic in the bottom right-hand corner, right? Okay.
Technically, it was approved. I obviously prepared this before you resubmitted, and you were going to go back through all of this, but...
So thank you all for that. Do we have any other staff or commissioner comments? Do we have any public comments? Mr. Lawrence, you're the only public we have in the room. Gentlemen, the time of adjournment is upon us. I believe I see somebody smiling over there.
We like a good winner.
Could I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion to adjourn passes 4-0. Next meeting is February 3rd, 2022 at 6 p.m. in these chambers. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate y'all's help.
Farms, y'all know what.
One day I'm gonna.
Love y'all, mean it.
Be
Mr.
careful.
Chairman.
I'll call you tomorrow.
See you. Bye.